What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back to my banner review series. In this series I review a banner and tell you guys if it's worth something on that banner or not. I also tell you guys my raw opinion about these units and I try not to sugarcoat anything, as my opinion might influence some people's decision to summon on this banner. So recently a banner was released which includes some Sacred Stone units like Tana, Amelia, Innes and Seth. So let's begin with Tana, the best unit from this banner in my opinion. Tana has got incredible offensive stats with base 34 attack and base 36 speed, making her a really good offensive unit. Tana is not limited to offense because she has got an average physical and magical bulk with 25 on each stat, and with a rather low HP stat, she can work defensively as well due to her legendary weapon Vidofnir. This lance is not inheritable to any other unit and gives her +7 defense in the enemy phase if she's up against a sword, lance or axe unit. This opens up a lot of options for Tana because you can also go on the route of building her defensively due to this weapon if you get a plus HP or a plus defense Tana with something unfavorable like minus speed. This is a spur boost, meaning that it does stack up with skills like fortified defense and close defense, and with close defense and this weapon she can reach 38 defense, which is quite incredible for a fast unit like her. Since she's so fast, it also means that she's not gonna get doubled, and this helps her tank physical hits very well with her weapon. Her special is Moonbow, which is a good special for her. If you mainly use her as an enemy face unit, then you will have high chances of proccing this special in most combats due to its lower cooldown, but something like Draconic Aura is much more consistent on her. Her slot A skill is speed and defense +2, and this skill gives her the boost which she needs to function in the enemy phase. So a budget build is completely possible with this skill, but you could also run Fury over this skill and have her perform much better. Her slot C skill is pretty broken and essentially gives armored and infantry units a free Wings of Mercy if they are within 2 spaces of her. This skill works really well, especially with armored units like Hector, who no longer need to run Wings of Mercy, and of course Dancers. However, it's worth noting that this skill can only be inherited by flyers, so do not think of running 3 horse units and a Hector, it's not gonna work. This skill also has good synergy with Hit and Run because unlike Dragback, Hit and Run only moves the unit and does not move the opponent, so with guidance, a strong enemy phase unit like Hector, Lucas or Ike can teleport right in front of Tana and finish off that weakened enemy. This skill is simply incredible, and if you want to use armored units or if your roster is filled with infantry units, then Tana is worth something for because of this skill and because of the fact that the sheer amount of options this skill opens up. Tana is a top tier unit if she uses Brave Lance or Fire Sweep Lance. Unfortunately, she's not a top tier unit with her default skill set and default weapon, so you do need to invest in her quite a bit to make her reach her maximum potential. She will get compared to Cordelia a lot, who has got similar base 35-35 offenses. None of these units are better than each other, but they are both on the same level. However, Cordelia is still a better Brave Lance user due to her higher attack, but Tana is a better Fire Sweep Lance Plus user due to her higher speed. Both of them are top tier units and definitely come in the top 3 lance units in the game right now in my opinion. For skill inheritance, her best options lie in Fire Sweep Lance and Brave Lance, along with skills like Death Blow, Fury and Life and Death for slot A and Desperation and Hit and Run for slot B. But if you're going to be using her default weapon, then Fury with Renewal or Swordbreaker works quite well as well. So Tana is an S+ tier unit in my opinion and one of the best units in the game due to her versatility, utility and offensive power. So let's move on to the next unit now, and now we're going to be taking a look at Amelia. Amelia is a green armored unit and the first new armored unit to be released since the launch of the game. Zephiel was already in the game as an enemy unit when it was launched, and we never really got an armored unit on a new banner. Amelia has got the highest base stat total in the game, which is 173, which is higher than all other armored units in the game like Drog, Effie and Hector. Her HP stat is lower compared to all armored units, but her speed really makes up for that because she is the fastest armored unit in the game with a good base attack of 34. Her defense is also pretty high, and the only thing lacking about her is her resistance, but it's not really too bad in my opinion. Her weapon is Slaying Axe Plus, which is a better version of Killer Axe due to the higher might, and this enables her to run powerful special like Igneous and turn it into a 3-turn cooldown and even a potentially 2-turn cooldown cooldown special with Quicken Pulse. Sacred Cowl is their special, allowing her to take hits from mages when it's charged up. However, like I said, on a unit like her with nice attack and speed, she can certainly run offensive specials like Bonfire and Igneous. Her slot A skill is Earth Boost, which gives her +6 defense if she has got 3 more HP than the opponent. This is a pretty good skill for her kit with her already high HP stat and makes her a really tanky unit, but it is slightly inconsistent due to the fact that if she gets low on health, she will no longer get the boost from this skill. Also, skills like this are really worthless for Lunatic Tempest Trials and Lunatic Chain challenges because pretty much every opponent there will have higher HP stat than her if she's not a bonus unit. Her slot C skill is a game changer for Armor Emblem teams because it allows Amelia to have 1 extra movement if she is near an armored ally at the start of a turn and gives another armored ally +1 movement if they're adjacent to Amelia. So now a powerful unit like Hector or Bravelance Effie can traverse the same way like an infantry unit does. It's also worth noting that with Armor March boost, you do not take the movement penalty from the terrain of woods, so that is incredible. Armor Emblem is much more viable now because of this skill. However, it is still easy to beat just as before because you can easily separate the armored units and then kill them one by one if they do not have the Armor March boost. This skill also opens up some nice team building options as you can abuse Armor March with a very strong unit like Bravelance plus Effie and a Dancer. Previously, Dancers didn't really work all that well with armored units due to their poor 1 movement, so this skill is a must-have if you have got an Armor Emblem team or if you want to make an Armor Emblem team. For skill energies, Amelia can run Darting Blow or Fury for her slot A and run Renewal or Axe Breaker or even Lance Breaker for slot B. She does not need to run Desperation because her defense is already really high and Desperation is usually run on units which have got really bad defense stats. If you are a Whale and if you got a plus attack Amelia, then you can also give her Distant Counter from Hector. Amelia can also run Brave Axe Plus with Swift Sparrow or Fury and quad attack many units after the Hone Armor buff. Amelia is definitely a top tier unit because of her good physical bulk and offensive stats along with Armor March skill. Now let's move on to the next unit, Innes. Innes has got base speed of 34 and base 33 attack, and such offensive stats are much better than other high tier archers like Klein, George and Takumi, so Innes with this alone instantly becomes a very good archer. It doesn't stop there as he's got a very high resistance stat as well, allowing him to easily take magical hits. His weapon is the legendary bow Nidhogg, which works like Owl Tombs, however it is not inheritable to other units. It is definitely a very good bow for a unit like him and helps him do damage and also tank magical hits if there are allies adjacent to him. His special is Iceberg, which is the perfect special for him, allowing him to get 15 points of additional damage when he triggers it if he has got the neutral resistance IVs. His slot A skill is Fortress Resistance, which is a counterpart to Fortress Defense skill as it gives him +5 resistance at the cost of 3 attack points. Innes can easily use the skill as his attack is pretty good and he's got a legendary weapon. He also comes with one of the best skills for a colorless unit, which is Cancel Affinity, which completely invalidates Triangle Adept Raven Tomb users like Male Robin, and since Innes already has good resistance, he doesn't really have any kind of trouble killing such units. Overall, Innes has got a very synergetic kit from the start, so a very easy budget build is possible by just giving him an assist skill and a slot C skill. For skill inheritance, he has got 3 main options. He can either go with his default weapon Nidhogg and make him into a magic check with Cancel Affinity, or he can run offensive set with Brave Bow Plus or Fire Sweep Bow Plus. Fury and Fortress Resistance with Cancel Affinity are great options with his default weapon. However, if you decide to run an offensive set, you can also run Life and Death with Desperation, and if you're running Fire Sweep Bow Plus, then of course run Cancel Affinity. All of the options are very viable on him. However, with Brave Bow Plus, he does become a top tier archer because his matchup chart is the best compared to any other archer in the game except for Bright Cordelia. So in my opinion, he's the second best archer in the game now after Bright Cordelia because of his fantastic offensive spread of 33 base attack and 34 speed, which is pretty close to that of Cordelia's. Unlike Bright Cordelia, Innes is always going to be available in the game, so that's pretty good. Now let's move on to the final unit from this banner, Seth. Seth is the most underwhelming unit from this banner, and intelligence systems have completely ruined Seth just like they did to Matilda and Berkut. Seth is pretty much a better stall with more speed and much less HP, and it's pretty sad actually. None of his stats really stand out because units like Xander, Eliwood and Eldigan heavily outclass him as a unit and do everything much better, which he does. His weapon is Ruby Sword Plus, just like Stall, and it has got Triangle Adept 2 built into it. His assist skill is also same as Stall's, which is Swap, which is a pretty good assist skill. His slot A skill is Fortress Defense, which gives him +5 defense at the cost of 3 attack points. This reduces his attack to the point where he has trouble doing damage if he does not have the weapons triangle advantage, but a plus attack Seth wouldn't mind the skill at all. His slot B skill is a new skill, Seal Attack and Defense, which lowers enemies' attack and defense by 5 after combat, and it's a really good skill for a unit like Seth, who is like a duelist, so the -5 attack on enemy can mean that he takes very low damage on the next combat. Seth does have a pretty decent default skill set, but it's just that he's lacking when it comes to his base stats. And for his skill inheritance, he can run Fury with Sword Breaker or Fortress Defense with Quick Riposte and a special like Bonfire. If you really love Seth, then you can also pass him a Vote Out Plus and he will become a significantly better unit with that weapon and Moonbow, and Fury as his slot A skill, and either Sword Breaker or Quick Riposte for his slot B. A Slaying Edge build with Bonfire is also possible, so all of those are his best options, and I'm just really disappointed because he went from being one of the strongest units, if not the strongest unit in Sacred Stones, to stall level in Heroes. It's not really that he's unviable, but it's really sad to see a great unit like him transition into this. So now I will give you guys my final verdict on this banner. I give this banner a rating of 9 out of 10, which is the highest rating I've ever given to a banner. This banner has got 3 top tier units in Tana, Amelia and Innes, and not only that, but it also has excellent skills like Guidance, Cancel Affinity, Fortress Resistance and Armor March, so even if you get a duplicate of these 3 units, it's going to be really good for you. The only scenario I would say that you shouldn't summon on this banner is if you already have a Cordelia as a Lance unit and you hate using armor units, and if you already have a Bright Cordelia with good IVs. If you do not have a good Lance unit, then summon for Tana, and if you do not have an armored unit or a good axe unit, and if you want to start up with Fire Emblem team, then summon for Amelia. She also has the highest base stat total in the game, so that's good for Arena, and if you miss getting Bright Cordelia and need a good archer, then summon for Innes, but be prepared to summon in the colorless hell. Seth is not really worth summoning for unless you have got nostalgia for him, because Xander, a free to play unit, outclasses him really hard. Tana, Amelia and Innes are all pretty versatile units, and extremely cheap budget builds are possible on these units. For example, on Tana, even if you run Brave Lance from a 4-star unit and Life and Death 2 from a 4-star Hannah, she's still going to be doing a lot of destruction. So the best unit out of this banner is Tana, followed by Innes, and then Amelia, and at last Seth in my opinion. Even though I do recommend to summon on this banner, be very careful of spending too many orbs on this banner, because Choose Your Legends banner with Ike, Lucina, Roy and Lynn is probably going to be the next banner, because they said months ago on their official Japanese Twitter page that it is going to be released after the summer, and both Nori and Summer banner and this Sacred Stones banner end on the same day. Not only that, Intelligent Systems giving us such a good banner like this does make me think that Choose Your Legends banner is probably the next banner, and it might have some busted units, as fans have been anticipating that banner for months now, and contains some of the most popular characters from the franchise. So choose very wisely to spend your orbs, and hopefully this guide does help you with your decision. So if you enjoyed and if this helped you, then please be sure to leave a like, it really helps me a lot, and share this video with all your friends who are thinking about summoning on this banner. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.